All right, this is going to be episode 2 of Slash FF for the 2020 season of League of Legends. We're back after the second week of LCS. Um, we're doing this on Monday night right after Monday Night League has wrapped up. And I gotta say, I'm pretty upset at that last draft by Dignitas when they lost to FlyQuest when they picked Lee Sin and goddamn Echoes. They're 4-5, but that's beside the points. How are you doing this week, Will?
I'm doing pretty good. Realizing that based on these first 2 weeks, a lot of my predictions have been thrown on their head. But
Same CLG 04. I thought they were gonna
yeah,
be a top three team, but it's
I thought
okay.
CLG was gonna be good, but then they proved, hey, we're
Ruin and Crown
CLG,
are
and
washed up as fuck. What the hell happened?
Rune
Smoothie is
dude, their whole
mediocre.
team is bad.
Wiggly
None
also
of them.
like looks so worse now. Stixay is kind of meh. Holy
6A
shit.
literally just looks like Stixay,
Do you want
just
here, we
average.
can go bottom up from what I have pulled up. So we have CLG here first, 0-4 right now. Holy fuck, dude. So beginning of the season, I remember my logic was like, oh, their team doesn't have any problem players. At most, Crown would be the most inconsistent one as of recently, but he should be able to have good, consistent performances with Song. He's another Korean as well with Ruin. Yeah, that shit did not happen. He's not playing well with Wiggly. He's not inting, but he's just not doing much, which is like the ye old like washed up mid laner effect. Shit. People always flame Bjergsen and Froggen for doing that kind of stuff. Looks like it's getting to Crown the good old NA Ram. That last LeBlanc game of his, he did 8% of CLG's damage, so it's definitely not looking good for Counter Logic Gaming.
Yeah, oof, this CLG team, man. On paper, this team looked like pretty
Yeah.
decent. They didn't look like a championship team, but they did not look like last place. This is
Yeah.
some classic CLG. Next week, this I have a feeling that it's good. It's rough too, but like who are you gonna bring up from their academy team? Their academy team's not good either.
Um, so like, here's the other thing. I feel like I got baited by Double Lift when he was talking. Remember how Double Lift had that one interview a while ago? He's like, "Oh, Ruin's actually insane. Like he solo kills Jensen all the time." Blah blah blah. But it's like, dude, whenever we see Ruin play, even last year, we all thought he was awful. Like just at the end of the split, like
I just think it's
it
so
was.
weird that they're giving him
Whew.
they're giving him the 2019 pre Worlds, well, like during Worlds and pre Worlds impact, where they give him the counter pick and then it's just to give him a counter pick so he doesn't get screwed in lane.
And
And
here's the worst
then
thing: he picked Silas
he
in that
can't
game against
carry.
TSM, and it was just awful. It was
Yeah,
awful. He was down 40 CS like early on. It was just
yeah.
awful. I don't want to talk
He
about
can't
CLG
carry.
anymore. This team looks washed. I'm throwing my because even if they improve, I thought their big advantage was like the yield FlyQuest of last year, where like they would be like a top four team, top three, But if they improve from here, I don't like it. I don't. It
Their team is just so weird for me. It's not like Wiggly's like their young player who like needs to develop, and if you go to their academy team, it's like who are you gonna bring up, dude? Like no one on their academy team is very like special. You have Fragus who's literally ain't or pop off. He's like a blabber gigalite. And then you have like Tuesday, who's actually been okay. Like Tuesday's been pretty good. I think he should get a shot at some point, but you gotta put him in for Crown. Like that's not gonna be a winning team either. This team's pretty screwed.
All right. Well, talking about teams that are screwed, moving up, we have tied for eighth place. We have EG and Golden Guardians. Let's start with Golden Guardians here. Picking up a win against Evil Genius with the FBI TP backdoor. That was a pretty gross game. Keith in the first week I didn't think looked as bad, but by the second week he has a combined total of 122 and 12. So it's not looking too good for their role swap. My biggest question about the Keith role swap is that he is being role swapped and who he's sitting in academy as the support. So is who he that bad as the support that they're playing Keith? That's my like major thought right now on the
If you
team.
watch the academy game tonight, Huhi was looking really good with those thresh hooks, but there was multiple times where like like earlier, Hard. I don't know if you watched the academy
I do
game, but
not. I
Oh,
only watch
Hard
Dig
went in
Academy
for.
games.
So Huhi throws a beautiful hook and it's about to hit, but Hard ward hop kicks him out of the hook. So he dodges the hook for him, and then they end up trading 1-for-1. So they're just letting Huhi get it, and then they have a advantage on the in the fights. But I don't know. Huhi must be really bad. But Golden Guardians, I don't know. this is. Like, cause the whole point of making Keith a support was to make him
A
like
mechanical like support.
but like to know when to go in. They
Yeah.
wanted someone who like knew how to kill. But then they put him on Tom Kench
Brom.
twice. And
Yeah.
he's been on Tom Kench and Brom. He's had one game on Nautilus, and
Like
he's just into.
Keith should be like Leona Nautilus duty, not defense
Yeah,
duty.
yeah. So he's been like whenever he's on Tom Kench, he keeps getting caught out in rotations. And this was the same problem that Keith had as an AD carry. It's been a historical Keith problem where he'll do like all this stuff and then he'll just randomly get picked off like
Yeah.
before a fight even starts. It's the same thing happening in these games. Like there's been multiple times he's like tried rotating through river to mid lane on Tom Kench, and it's like, what do you? You're not gonna gank on Tom Kench, and he just gets caught out and dies.
On the
So it's
plus
like,
side, though, Golden Glue has looked better than Crown to some degree. Bjergsen, and he's definitely looked better than Ika and Ryoma. So,
yeah,
I
Golden. He's the highlight of the team.
yeah.
Him and Closer actually have looked
Oh,
pretty
Closer
okay.
was really good. Yeah, week one.
Closer's looked okay. Haunter's looked. I don't know. It's hard to judge Haunter because he's
I don't know how much Haunter cares right now.
well. Haunter's also not getting any like resources,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like their bot lane's just. I don't
I
know.
think you can tell that Golden Glue's a bit fresh though, because like he really does like once his team starts faltering in the mid game, he has a hard time transitioning his lead into like making them stronger in objectives with flanks and stuff. Especially like for example the LeBlanc game where he was very far ahead. It was like he did struggle, and I think that like shows that he's kind of green still in that
Yeah, like I
regard.
don't have a problem with Golden Guardians being. I think eighth is actually a pretty decent spot for him right now.
Well,
Everyone's
they're
above
tied.
them.
They're the other 1-3 team with EG right now, so they're
Well, yeah,
tied.
they're technically above them because they beat EG.
Okay, all right.
But it's just like I don't know. I honestly think it would take them. I thought they wouldn't get a win till like like until they fought Immortals and even Immortals beat them.
All right, well let's move to EG.
This is a team that you and I were talking about a lot over like
We talked about
conversations.
how they would be bad though, didn't we? We both said like they would be like sixth place or something, like they'd be
Oh no,
scrappy.
no, I mean like over the past like 2 weeks, like whenever like I'll like message you or you'll message me, it's always about like we always end up talking about how EG looks like they got it's like looks like they got scammed by Cloud9
Yeah, it's
because
too good of a meme.
Sven Skaren looks, oof, he does not look very good right now. He is consistently underperforming. Kumo looks really green.
Kumo is an Aatrox one trick. Like he's literally like a poor man's Viper, poor man's Impact. I don't know.
He's just really bad.
Yeah. Like Kumo
And then
doesn't int, but he
Zayzal
just
looks
doesn't do much.
honestly, Bang looks pretty decent. Jizuke looks pretty decent in some of these games.
I think the problem with Bang is that like when you put him on this kind of team, like he's
He just
not gonna
doesn't
do any.
impact
Yeah,
enough. Yeah,
he doesn't do
because
anything.
you saw the game with the Philios where
Hmm.
he's four and like four
Right.
and one or something like that. But then he just doesn't really do anything. Like he doesn't like have that double lift like
We have too many weak side AD
instinct.
carries in North America right now, if you think about
It's
it.
also hard. Yeah, well, it's also hard to be a strong side AD carry right now because that's just not the meta. The
That's
meta
true.
is Senna,
Is
Philios,
rotation, yeah.
sit back, play in scale, and then you're immobile, so you can't Upset said this one on Crackdown or whatever it was.
I think it was Crackdown.
Uh, yeah, he was talking about how it's not like the fun meta for ADCs to like make plays. Like there's no like it's not like Kaisa, Zaya, or Lucian, so like it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
So
I'm curious to see where EG heads. My initial like reactions with them is it does kind of look like I'm not too like I still don't understand why they went with the deal that they. I mean, I get it, like, because they're a new team and they didn't have any like bargaining tools, so they're like, okay, well, we're gonna purchase from C9, but like they really needed to play through Jizuke hard, and it just sometimes like that playstyle, like even like for example, the first week when they drafted Azir, like that just did not make sense because we identified before in the in the first episode when we were talking about it, like this team feels like it has one identity. It's they have to play through Jizuke because Kumo's not going to carry you. Bang is a weak his entire career he's always been weak side. Like that shit's not going to change now that he's in NA. And the first game they played was like fucking Azir, like and they got smashed, right? It just did not make sense. I thought that they would draft Echo in that game, and yeah. So I don't know. Jizuke, like he had the one good game with LeBlanc, but aside from that, it seems like a real big struggle for EG right now.
Yeah, based on these performances, I think if they have another really bad week, I think they should dip into their academy because I think Onda's pretty decent, and I think how much worse can Brandini be than Kumo? So
Is
I
but
don't.
you are
I think
replacing
EG Academy is pretty
you
decent.
are replacing Svenskeren with Onda though. I know Svenskeren's looked bad, but will Onda? Do you think Onda will have that much upside if they were to replace him?
I don't know. Maybe light a fire under his ass or
That's
something.
true.
I don't think it's gonna be enough. Like obviously, like
Yeah,
this and
they could
and
bring in the
CLG.
definitely
If
Mata
they
bot lane.
yeah, if CLG dips into their academy,
Yeah,
if CLG or Evil Genius dip into their academy, it's just like a. It looks like a. It seems like a Misfits from last year, where it's like
true.
they're kind of fucked. So let's just bring in their academy team.
But Will,
Because EG Academy team is actually pretty decent. I
I got
just
a
think
pitch for
that
you.
Anda would be okay.
EG buys out Dig Academy.
Honestly, though, Dig Academy,
Or
dude, Dig
CLG
Academy
buys it.
are. I find watching Dig
It's
Academy
so fun.
much more
It's
entertaining
so
than
fun.
like half of these LCS games.
Dude, it's
Because
so fun.
like
They
even
just
after the
smurf.
game, yeah, and they're all like three of them, like Lorlo, Acadian, and they all just seem like really big, cool friends, and then Phoenix.
No, no, no. You just
But
throw the two Koreans bot lane, and then you just have some dudes chilling out in the top side of the map. It's so fun.
yeah, literally their
It's a
top side of the
party.
map just seem like they're just hanging out being buds. Because I know Acadian and Devontae are friends, and then Lorlo it seems like he'd get along with them.
Yeah.
They just seem like they're just dudes just smurfing on everyone. They're just
Dude,
laughing about it, having a
it's
good
great.
time.
I love it. All right. Well, I got a pitch for EG and CLG is that when you're struggling, you guys should probably just buy out the Dig Academy team. If by week 5 you guys are struggling, I'd really be looking at Dig Academy. But next on the list, we have 4 teams tied in 2-2. That is 100 Thieves, Immortals, TL, and TSM. We'll go with TSM because we're going bottom up right now. TSM a 2-0 week, but I actually think they looked quite bad this week, just as they did last week. I think Broken Blade showed a lot. It had like 2 pretty good performances overall this week, but like even in this final game against CLG, it felt like such a draft victory for TSM because they didn't have to do anything. Broken Blade was on Ornn, and the CLG team like can't actually kill Ornn. Like no one on their team actually can kill Ornn in any way. Silas doesn't do enough. LeBlanc doesn't do anything. Senna doesn't do anything. They have Tom Kench and Olaf. Like they're never killing Ornn. Syndra is good disengage, and TSM just has a run at you comp with the Ornn, with the Rakan, with the Kiana. So it seemed much like a band-aid fix for TSM to just take a free draft victory over CLG. So I don't know. I don't think TSM's looking great right now. I think Dardoch, like in the first week, he still plays pretty well early games, but they do struggle with like again transitioning lead into mid late.
Yeah, I think their game time speaks for itself. It
Mm-hmm.
seems like they're. This literally just feels like watching Splice from last season,
Yeah.
but a little bit worse.
Yeah.
It's just it's just hope that you go late game and then you win off of having late game scaling 80 carry and set and just hope that the other team is worse than you because both of their wins are pretty unconvincing. Both of them have been super long games.
Their
I,
players haven't
I
looked that
haven't
great
been a
either.
yeah, I haven't been a big fan. It seems like some of these wins that they're picking up are kind of just like a little cheesy. They're
Yeah.
losing. They're still losing to bad teams and beating bad
Yeah.
teams.
Bjergsen, his performance right now, he looks like kind of the sixth place mid. Like he's performed much worse than Golden Glue, just as an eye test. I know he's sick, but like at the end of the day, we are gonna have to look at the gameplay and just yeah, based on the last 2 weeks, his performance has not been very good, and that's probably like a major factor with TSM too. But beside from that, like it is good to see that Broken Blade has improved from last week to this week, but I don't think it's by like that's not enough for like the team like a huge mark. Like it's not like he's coming out and solo carrying stuff, you know. I think the bot lane has been pretty solid thus far, but again, like this could be like this is factored in with the meta too, like you said earlier with what Upset said. But so much weak side AD carrying in North America, and Kabe just adds on to that as another like just weak side bot lane with Biofrost. All right, I guess we'll move on to the next one. So it's Team Liquid at 2-2 as well. Um, so between the first 2 weeks, I think Jensen in the first week looked kind of bad, and then the second week Jensen has looked a lot better. Actually, he looked like a lot of their primary threat in the second week mostly. Sidewaving on the rise actually was really good. How he took tempo away from Dignitas and started sidewaving there. Yeah, I think Jensen's looked a lot better, and once they get Brox in, this team should be back in form for the most part. Um, I don't know if you have any thoughts on TL.
Uh, Team Liquid. 2-2 is not scaring me.
Yeah.
I know, it's annoying me at this point. Every time they talk about Team Liquid on the broadcast, they're saying, "But they don't have Broxa." It's like, yeah, I understand. Like that is like the reality of it. They don't have Broxa,
Yeah.
and they're still trying to like figure things out. But I don't think them having Broxa inherently would change
Do you
a
think he'd be
ton.
more proactive though than Fire? Because it feels like
Yeah, I
mid lane
just
kind of
don't.
stalls
I
out.
still
Okay.
don't think they'd be 4-0 with Brox. I still think they would have lost that C9 game with Broxa.
Okay.
I feel like this meta is really bad for double lift, and
Hmm.
that's a lot of how they win is strong laning phase, and they are. It's hard to have a strong laning phase with Senna and Aphelios. Like you saw the game they had Zyra Khan was so much better. Like that's how you win lane, and that's how they get their advantages. But also the lane swapping, like Double have said in his interview, it's really bad for them because they usually get their advantage from being able to fight the enemy laners and zone them off like 30 or 40 CS. The other laners just have to make it to 8 minutes, and then they can swap lanes top, and then you can see from there what happens.
Well, I think this should be good for TL though in terms of improvement, right? Because then this forces them to play around Jensen. Because I don't
Yeah,
think unless there's an
I
like
think they should
yeah.
change their style how they're playing,
Because
but also
without
I
this
think
kind of
they
like
should
artificial reason, I don't
change
know if
up.
they'd play around Jensen.
Yeah, because I'm not too nervous about them. Like the loss to Dignitas was literally just off them throwing. They
Yeah.
literally just tried forcing too hard, and then they threw. But I think they'll be fine going forward. Once Broxy gets there, we'll see. Even if Broxy doesn't get there, I think they'll do better with Fire as the weeks go on, as they understand the meta more.
Yeah, I just hope Fire gets more confident if they go with him for a while. When
I think
Broxa,
yeah, I
yeah,
just want to see Fire make a bit more make more plays. I know on Dire Wolves he was really used to making plays around mid, and so if they're gonna do that, then they have to put Johnson on more power picks.
yep, yep. I think the thing though is like the Jensen being able to play around Jensen and forcing Jensen into a situation to carry is going to be really important for international competition. This is something that like, I mean, Jensen was always like on C9 was like, oh, he never wins in NA, but when it comes to Worlds, he always does very well. He's very clutch, and we saw an inverse last year where he was okay. He was pretty good on TL for the most part. You know, he was contesting top 3 mid laner, but once it came to internationally, like aside from the MSI performance, he was not able to bring out that old Cloud9, clutch style that he needed to do before. So it's something that I hope like if the meta forces TL to artificially like try different things to adapt, then hopefully that actually does improve their team overall. All right, next team we have up here is Immortels 2-2, the French colony, aka the best mid laner in
This team
Europe.
can literally be just described as change the mid, maybe you play better. Like, because I think
I
I
think they
could,
have so many. Dude, they have 4 solid pieces. They actually have 4 solid pieces.
dude, the bottom looks really strong. Soaz is looking fine, and X-Smithy's X-Smithy. But I think a lot of the issues are coming from mid lane. Like Ika's
Yeah.
getting these counter picks. He's doing weird builds. He's playing really. He's
Imagine
playing
if they had
really
Pobelta like the
passive.
old Emotos were there.
Yeah, I think if they have Pope out there here, they play better. Even Insanity, I think might honestly just be better to put in
Dude, Ica is
because
just.
Ica is just screwing them because their bot lane's playing really well, and they're just getting and top lane's playing fine with their resources, and then yeah, it's just so
Yeah.
much. The mid jungle 2v2 right now is just so weak.
Soaz it has good macro. Altec can flex Cassio, which is actually really good. His first game on the Cassio was actually really good. It's just unfortunate for them. Um, I think that if they just had a mid laner to play through, like if Immortals was the team with Jizuke, I think Immortals would be super good.
Yeah,
If Immortals had Jizuke, they would actually be insane, or not insane, but like they would be like within the top
they would
10.
be in playoffs. They'd be
Yeah,
in top six,
yeah.
especially right now after some of these teams are playing like shit.
Yeah, it's just they have Ike like just what gets me is like okay, so like the Zoe game he played, he missed so many bubbles, like but because they didn't engage on him, he just had so much time to keep throwing things out. The game with Yasuo versus Pantheon, he needed to push in the wave for the reset so he wouldn't freeze, but he had to wait for X Smithy because he didn't wait, he got solo killed. Like there's just things Ike
He
does.
loses prio a lot too, and then like they don't have vision, and then X Smithy gets caught trying to make a play because they have no vision, they have no priority mid, and then X Smithy has to like force a play. and then he just gets caught, and then it's just making their whole team like at a disadvantage.
I just don't know how like I just don't know what mid laners they tried because I know 100 Thieves said like, oh, they had a lot of internal stuff with Ryoma and blah blah blah. I mean, we'll get to 100 Thieves next, so we gotta flame them too. But like, I don't know anything about like what Immortal's process was for getting their mid laner. Yeah, I just if they had Jizuke here because he was imported, they would be a better team. I think if they had Golden Glue, they would be a better team. I think if they had Demonte or Pobelder, they could potentially be a better team. But they have
Yeah.
Ica.
The Ica pickup's just so strange to me because like everyone has flamed this pickup for the most part because it's like he wasn't good in EU.
And that was it's been 4 years.
Like,
It's been over
yeah.
4 years
So
now.
why are we trying to develop him now in NA? Like, if you're
Hmm.
gonna develop someone, at least develop like you saw
Just
these
develop
guys
an NA player. If you're going to
grab someone
develop
from
someone who's not that great. Or
grab a good talent from the Euro League, dude. There's
yeah,
so many good European mids that are like that could have been taken, and then like you saw like Lions, they didn't grab one. Like they have good players in other roles, so like it's like there has to be someone out there that we can
yeah.
pick up that has like I'd even rather have leader at this point. Like, come on, like
Yeah,
Jesus.
unfortunately, Lira was released really late from Misfits, so unlucky
Yeah,
for him. But yeah. All right. Well, because we're going to talk about other. So we're going through the teams quickly because we're going to talk about some matchup stuff afterwards. So we're just trying to blaze through these. All right. So next up, we have 100 Thieves, the last of the 2-2 teams, and yeah, this team feels pretty much just like 2019 100 Thieves when they had like no real like playmaking. And I wouldn't even call it an up. Like it feels worse than 2018 100 Thieves because at least it felt like Ryu had a very clear goal in what he wanted to do with Afromu. Whereas right now, Stunt is a bit green, and same thing with Ryoma, honestly. So it feels a lot more like the 2019 100 Thieves, where you have an AD carry who's just like Bang. Cody and Bang like play very similarly in that aspect, where they play weak side and they get a lot of farm, they carry late, but yeah, I mean, it's just not much is happening for them, and then it devolves into the 2018 play style as a result of having like three similar players, at least from what I can observe. I know that the word on the block is that Ryoma should be decent, at least from scrim results, but scrim bucks don't really buy much when you can't put the results up. He was obviously outperformed by Jizuke. I think Ryoma looks like the ninth mid laner, like just above Ica right now. And I mean, I'm willing to give him time to develop because 100 Thieves, they did say that like, hey, this is going to be like we want to develop Ryoma and like we're promoting Stunt here. But when you have Someday still in the lineup and you bring back Cody and Meteos, it's hard to like grasp the concept that it's like it's just kind of a developmental year for you. It really should feel more like you're really trying to get into playoffs and like make it at least to like semis.
yeah, that was the one that I was gonna bring up. It's just so strange to pick up the Meteos pickup wouldn't be. It's just hard when you. I think when you pick up Cody, it's tough because Cody's like top three AD carry in NA
Or at least like in
last year.
theory, yeah,
In
like
theory,
multiple
yeah.
years in a row, like he's shown consistent performance. Like he's a
Yeah,
reliable
he's
asset.
made worlds on three different teams in the
Hmm.
past 3 years. Like I think if you pick up Cody, then it's hard. You can't just like tell your fans, hey, it's a rebuild year. So it's like they kind of went half and half. Like I don't know if they're hoping for Ryoma to develop in one split, and then he's ready for summer. They go to Worlds, but if it's not a one split development, I think why sign Cody? Let Cody sign with another team that's a higher chance to perform,
Yeah,
and then get it, then develop. Go find another talented 80 carry or something, or I don't know. It's just strange to me. They kind of like dipped their toe like halfway in the water.
yeah. I think 100 Thieves, if they, if yeah, it's funny enough, but I think Jizuke could have also. This is another team where Jizuke could have worked on. I think that would have been a decent pickup. I also think Papa Smithy, he could have shelled out the LCK connections, try to bring Chovy aboard.
Yeah.
Feeling like, hey Chovy, don't join Dragon X. Come for the 100 Thieves or UCal. UCal was a late signing to Sandbox or not Sandbox to Griffin, so there were options, and I think that again, I know that they said they did a lot of in-house testing for various talent. I'm assuming they probably did some stuff with Pobelter and Demonte, and they still settled on a Ryoma. So if that's their goal, I can respect that. But at the same time, it's just like you pointed out, it's just hard to put that like as your frame like it's hard to like frame that as like your goal, you know, like as a fan perspective, because you have these pickups that like Medios and Cody are still both good players, at least from their previous performance. Someday, you know, maybe he's overvalued a bit, but he has that previous he has a lot of name value, right? So when you do that, you end up going half and half, and it creates a really awkward, you know, point where like your fans are expecting you to perform very well, but you think to yourself, "Wait, we're trying to develop here." Now I know spring split doesn't matter very much right now anymore, so you know, we bagged on a lot of these teams for trying to develop players, but yeah, I mean that's just the reality of the situation, right? Is that in esports you either win or it doesn't look very good a lot of the time. So
Yeah.
all right, so moving on, we have the two teams tied at second place, both 3-1. We have FlyQuest and Dignitas. We'll start out with FlyQuest. I am surprised that they am 3-1. Um, I didn't think that FlyQuest would have been proactive enough on the map because I thought Power of Evil would kind of just like sit back and farm up. But I actually think Ignar has done a really good job of unlocking PoE. I know it's funny because I thought people really overhyped the Misfit synergy because I was saying like, okay, that's, you know, that's 2017, different meta. Like I really don't think that factors in. But Ignar's actually done a really good job of trying to be proactive for the team, and that's also really helped out because I think Santorin also wants to be quite proactive too.
Yeah. After week one, everyone was talking about, oh, like FlyQuest looks legit and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, they look good, but take it with a grain of salt. They are playing Immortals and
CLG, yeah.
CLG. So I was like, let's see week two, and then they got smashed by Team Liquid. I was like, okay, FlyQuest coming down to earth, and then they played pretty well against Dignitas. Dignitas did kind of in a little bit with their draft, but
Yeah.
I do think that this FlyQuest team is pretty good. I think a lot of that comes from a lot of either pre-existing synergies or since three of the pieces are still together from last season. I think Santorin's still a good player. I just think this team. I think Santorin struggles in playoffs.
Yeah.
This team, Viper, outside of that game against Team Liquid, he's been playing okay. Like
I mean, they have four veterans too. In theory, they
yeah,
should have a lot of experience behind them.
yeah. He doesn't need to set the world on fire. He just needs to survive. And they
Yeah.
have someone that has a secondary carry. The problem with FlyQuest last season was it was like turtle or kind of bust. Like Poe Belter wasn't carrying. He was doing his job, but he wasn't like carrying.
Mm-hmm.
And now they have a secondary carry, and as long as this team can keep improving, Ignar's doing a great job unlocking stuff on the map. Actually, moving around the map with Santorin has been really effective too. There was a lot of
Especially with the
times
meta
last
too, right?
season, yeah, a lot of time last season where JJ wouldn't really move. Wadid especially just sat there because half the time he was on Tom Kench, to be honest. So he couldn't really do
Yeah,
anything.
Wadid was not the best pickup for
Yeah.
them.
So I think this team's pretty decent
Yeah.
comparatively to all the other teams in the league. There's a lot of underperforming, so this overperformance from FlyQuest. I don't know if this is an overperformance from FlyQuest or just they're performing how they should, and every other
Yeah.
team hasn't caught up yet. So we'll see as we go
Yeah.
forward.
I mean, yeah, we'll slowly make predictions after we just do a rundown of like what our current thoughts are on the teams. But I mean, I pretty much agree. It's hard for me to judge because some teams I think that they are having issues that I did not think they would have before the season started. But at the same time, we do see some good things from FlyQuest. Viper has had a few good performances. He had the one bad performance, but you know that's kind of like what you get right when you have a top laner that is mostly known for carries, and you have Ignar actually again activating a lot of stuff on the map, and given the current meta, it's been very good for him, and that's I guess that's really fortunate for FlyQuest. But moving on, we are going to Dignitas, and I want to start off by saying that I think that so I rated Dignitas pretty low. I think I put them like seventh or sixth. I said like they. I think today's game against FlyQuest is showcasing the Dignitas I thought would appear more often. Where Huni overextends level 1 very greedily, Grig doesn't do much, and then Froggen actually ended up on a very weird pick today, which is the Echo, and I think they could have just drafted other things there, but relevant. I think, though, the bright point about Dignitas, beyond just like Froggen and Huni, is the fact that I think Afro and Johnson actually look very good. I think they have been pretty good. Yeah, like I think Johnson's been the most consistent part of Dig, and I think today he kind of got fucked because the rest of the map collapsed around him.
Yeah, this when I was making my predictions video, I said that like their personalities and like play styles are either gonna not work at all and they're gonna be like eighth place, or they're gonna work fine together and they're gonna be like third or fourth. And I think that's exactly what's happening. I think I think their playstyles aren't going against each other. I think they've done a good job taking Hooney down from Hooney syndrome, and he's
Yeah, he's
actually
been playing a lot of
played.
weak side recently.
Yeah, he's
Well,
been playing
he into
some.
today,
Yeah,
but
and yeah, he seems like he's been playing a little bit for more for the team. I think Johnson especially has looked really strong. I think he's definitely one of the stronger players right now in the
yeah.
league. Like he's definitely been performing and playing pretty well.
I want to
Uh,
see as the
yeah,
split goes on if the meta changes, if Johnson turns out to be a weak side AD carry or a strong side AD carry. Because right now they don't give him too many resources, but he makes a lot of stuff happen on his own, or not
yeah,
happen on
they've
his own
gotten
necessarily, but the
multiple
bot lane
solo
does.
kills.
Yeah, which to me says like, hey, when the meta shifts, we know Double Lift complain about, it, we know Upset complain about it. I'm curious to see if Johnson turns out to be another strong side AD carry for this team or for NA and just in general.
Yeah,
Another thing I think is important to note about Dig is that they do have their academy team, and while I don't think they're going to necessarily pull anyone from their academy team on the main stage, it is interesting to note that having a good academy team to me can matter in some situations with internal scrimming. I don't know how much the LCS teams prioritize that, but yeah, I mean that's like another potential bonus I think on that side.
yeah. I think this team's performing really well. Johnson was our NA solo queue prodigy, like
Yeah,
Upset it was in Europe.
yeah,
So I'm interested to see if he can perform. I want to see him. I kind of hope the meta changes because I want to see him play like Lucian. Well, Lucian's just getting banned, so but I want to see him play Lucian. I want to see him play Zaya.
yeah. I think if
I
you
want to
pick
I want to
Lucian,
see him
he's
play
not going to
some.
play it. Who's on their team.
Yeah, I want to see him play some cool stuff. I
Yeah.
think it'd be really interesting to see how good he is. But yeah, I think he played really well, and I think this team is playing pretty well right now. Greg's being a good dog. He's doing his job.
Yeah, I mean we'll see though, because it's only week 2, and my biggest thing was like I think this game illustrated again a wonky draft, so I don't completely blame that, but I still think Cooney like playing up on set and getting like ganked on the level 2 was like I know that he was unexpected on the gank timing, but when you're going to play that aggressively, you do want to get like an early ward for that kind of stuff, or you should have a plan with your jungler like a contingency for that kind of thing to happen. So it was just yeah, I mean there's still some potential for their flaws to appear. But overall, good performance. All right, finally, we move on to the first place team, 4-0, Cloud9. And, I will admit my faults. I did not think Cloud9 would be this good because I realistically thought that, yes, Sven would be better than he was on TSM, but I didn't think this team would have great leadership because Sneaky and Sven Skaren were both left, and Zazel was also a big shot calling component. So I did not expect them to have such a clear game plan in most of their games, but it seems like that. Yeah, Sven like was even better than I had thought he might have been, and Blabber has not inted as hard as I thought he would either. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what you think of it because I have a hard time describing like even their bot lane because it just seems like Cloud9 moves around the map and like takes skirmishes and collapses really well so far.
Yeah, right now it just seems like Cloud9 is just so much like just so ahead of every other team in like understanding of how to play the game right now. I feel like the Korean boot camp actually really helped them. A lot of these other teams didn't boot camp too hard. Uh, so it seems like Cloud9 really put in a ton of work in the offseason trying to get ready. I think Blabber has improved a lot. I think he's less uh, apish when he
Yeah.
goes on these
Do you
plays.
think, jungle wise, do you think Blabber looks like the best jungler so far in LCS? At least right now, like first
I think he
stage.
looks like the most impactful, but I
Okay.
think that whole team looks probably the best in their role right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
everyone on their team's performing really well. I haven't really had to notice Niski that much because everyone else is winning and doing their thing so
I
much.
think he looked like the best performing mid laner. I know people said Froggen did, but I actually think Niski has kind of. I think Niski. Like Froggen first week, it felt like a lot of the kills fell into his hands, whereas I think it felt more like Niski was trying to be proactive. And I know like Froggen played well, but yeah, that's just where I kind of saw it so
I
far.
think Froggen's been the most valuable mid. I don't know if he's
Okay.
per se the best mid because I think Niski's
Yeah.
played better. I just don't think Niski has to carry
Yeah.
the load as much as Froggen had to do in that first week.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Okay, so I want to do this. If you were to do top 3 for each role right now, so let's go top to bottom.
Mhm.
So I think top lane, my top three right now, I would have to say obviously like I think almost every member of Cloud9 would be number one for me. But I mean we'll just still do top three anyways. So I'd say probably Licorice. Um, second and third, man, it's hard to say because I think Impact hasn't had any big int moments, but he hasn't gotten a chance to like really do much. Man, it's actually hard to say now that I'm thinking about it, top laner wise. Someday also had the good play on set too. I'm not sure. Who do you have up there? Because right now, like Broken Blade, Soaz, Impact, Huni, like I don't know which top Viper. Someday I don't know which top laners I'd pick out of those because I think they're all kind of just middling right now. You know?
I think for me, I have Licorice, Impact, Soaz.
Yeah.
Just Soaz is specifically off of I feel like how they've won. It's through a lot of his like split push pressure and him actually not playing the NA like ARAM style,
Yeah.
and that's the only reason I have him above.
Mm-hmm.
It's I feel like a lot of top's not a very impactful role, so it's mostly like Licorice does his job really well. He wins lane really hard. He gets some advantages, and then Impact has done nothing but perform top. He's
Yeah.
been the most solid part of Team Liquid's first 2 weeks, and I think and then Soaz has helped Immortals pick up their 2 wins. I
Yeah.
think I think Huni. I don't
I
think
think
that
Huni would
this
be
is
right
based off
below
skill.
that
I think this is
on the
based off just
fourth.
the first 2 weeks.
I think Huni I would place on the fourth right below that because he had that big int game today, but he also did very well in
I
the
put
top
him and
lane.
Someday up there because him and Someday have been pretty good.
I might put Broken Blade a bit ahead of Someday right now just because, like,
Oh
no,
yeah,
no, no,
fair
no. But
enough.
the traffic, it's hard because I think, like, they've had,
They screwed Broken Blade that first week with his draft. They gave him a
man,
rumble and then they gave
yeah,
him.
it's just, they have, like, it's hard because, like, we have low sample size right now, but also, like, some of the teams just, they have good performances, but also bad performances. So it's hard for me to say top lane because I think top lane, like, you just kind of, like, have to fill in what your team needs. You know what I mean? And like
Mhm.
the big, you're right. I think the two most impactful ones so far for me, just from the eye test of affecting the game, has been pretty much like Licorice and Soaz overall. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, because Viper had the one pop off game, but then he had other games where he had issues. All right,
Mhm.
if we were to move to jungle, I actually think so. My top three for jungle would, Blabber, and I think Santorin and Closer would be my other in the tops for jungle so far.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I think Closer has actually looked really good. And honestly, like that was a great pickup from Golden Guardians, at least thus far. You know, we don't know how he'll look throughout the season, but off the initial record, I think he looked good. I think Grig has looked pretty consistent. Dardoch had good early games, and Xmithy, he does well, but the problem is like it's hard for Xmithy because there's no one else on his team to enable. Like those are the other three I would like say have like been in the middle. You know.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Um, Mid lane, I think Niski, Froggen, and Jensen probably.
See what that means.
Maybe Power of Evil too.
Yeah, I think you interchange them
Yeah, I think it's
because I don't
interchangeable
think
with this.
you can't put Bjergsen up there because it's week one.
I think Bjergsen and Golden Glue are like 5-6 right now.
Yeah, and Golden Glue hasn't played well enough.
Yep.
Yep, so I think mid's
Yeah.
pretty fair.
80 carry, Sven. Uh,
For me, it's Sven Johnson, and Sven Johnson, and maybe
we have
if I don't put
double.
if you don't put Doublelift, I think you put what's his name?
Altec? No.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean not Altec.
Sven Johnson. Which team?
Uh, not Cody. Fuck,
Bang.
what's his name? No, not
Kabe.
Bang. No, Turtle.
Turtle.
I think Turtle's played pretty decent, but also it's not Turtle's meta either. I don't even know, man.
I think Sven Johnson have looked the best of the 80 carries so far.
Yeah, I think Sven Johnson, and then I guess Doublelift just
Yeah.
for easy sake.
Yeah. I mean that one's though like I think first week double if didn't have the best games, but again it's hard for 80 carry too because like it is like the Aphelios Senna, and then if you don't pick those two, you go with like MF or Zaya right now. So Support wise, I know who'd be 10th for me. But top three for support. I don't know if I'd necessarily put Vulcan.
Ignar is number one for me.
Yeah, because I was gonna say Ignar's really good. I think that Core hasn't looked as good, but it also looks like
Core has
because
been missing a lot of
yeah,
stuff.
I think definitely Ignar. I actually think Afro and Vulcan have both looked pretty decent.
Yeah, I think I have Ignar, Vulcan, Afro.
Yeah, yeah. Because I think Afro's looked a lot better after like being having
I
his
think
pressure
Afro
on for
looks
so
good.
long.
It's just that Afro. It's hard to put Afro over Ignar and Vulcan because he's been on like Braum duty for the
Yep.
most part because they've been playing Affiliate Sun and shit like
Yep.
that. So like it's hard for him to make impacts while Ignar is playing Blitzcrank
All right.
and
You want to do
folks.
the week three preview, the predictions for week three?
Sure.
All right. So EG versus CLG. EG.
Yeah, at this
I say
point,
that. I
EG.
say that. I say EG, but like, man, I. In theory, EG should win because I think Crown has not done anything. I think Ruin looks like shit, and I don't think he'll beat Kumo that hard. Um, yeah, I just I don't know, dude. Like I think Bang and Zazel looked better than Stixay and Smoothie. Um, even Svenskeren looking bad, I think like he should be fine against Wiggly. Man, I just the first 2 weeks CLG performance just looked so bad. It just tanked everything I thought of CLG,
Mhm.
man. EG. This is like I honestly think it's like it should be like 70-30. TL versus 100 Thieves. I don't think 100 Thieves has a chance if TL plays through Jensen. Because I think if TL plays through Jensen, 100 Thieves will not know how to respond to the split pressure. Um, Ryoma, I don't think holds a bar to Jensen right now. I do think though that due to the 80 carry meta, that bot difference shouldn't be too big, and top should be a pretty equal. So overall, like I just it has to be mid difference for this game for TL 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
Okay, TSM Dig. I think Dig should win overall. I think TSM the victories they've had pretty much been draft victories. They have really good early games, and they if they do beat Dig, it's because Dig does a big fucking fuck up early game or they do some weird draft shit. But if they don't do that, TSM they don't have the best mid game transition, and Dig actually has some two players who are very good in the late game, with being Froggen and Johnson. So I
Mhm.
think that if it goes late, then Dig should win most of the time. And yeah, I mean I have Dig like mostly there.
Yeah.
C9 FlyQuest. I think C9. I think they just look better than FlyQuest
Yeah.
to us.
CN is just too good.
Yeah. All right. Immortals 100 Thieves. Um.
IMT baby.
I don't know for this one, so I got to think about this because Aika versus Ryoma, battle of the 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 import, but worse
Yeah.
than North American laners. Okay, so if we go bottom lane, Altec and Hakuho versus Cody. I think Cody is slightly better than Altec in the late game. But I think Altec having the flex Casio is very good. I do think Hakuho has had some decent performances, but he's also had some int moments, much like Smoothie. Jungle, X Smithy, 100 Thieves. I think the big advantage here is that Meteos has better parts to play around. And I think Soaz someday should mostly be roughly the same, with Soaz having some better, might have some better macro calls as of now. Hard to say. I'm gonna give it 100 Thieves because if their playstyles are similar, I do think that the 100 Thieve bot lane should, at least in theory, like I'm banking on Cody being slightly better than Altec here.
Yeah. I think. I still think Immortals just because of my bias.
Fuck.
That's literally
Okay.
it.
All right. Sure. Whatever. All right. Golden Guardians TSM.
TSM.
Oh man, I think TSM because of how bad Keith is, but like Closer is really good. I don't think Dardoch will run over Closer early game, and I think Golden Glue, like at least right now, if Bjergsen has his current performance, again I know he's sick, but we do have to go off the current performance. It's hard for me not to say TSM here, just overall, just because of the bot lane, but
I think TSM's just
yeah.
better.
I think Broken Blade is better than Hansa right now, just by performance, by margin. It's yeah. TSM.
Imagine if TSM in the off season, instead of Kave, they got Cody-san, and then they got Closer. Boom.
That actually would have been insane. Or they kept Johnson and got
Yeah, or
Closer.
Keith Johnson probably would have been fine too.
Yeah. Dignitas, Cloud9. I think Cloud9. I just think Cloud9's a more consistent team. I think Dignitas kind of has to peak if they want to beat Cloud9. And I think we
Yeah.
saw today that, like, They definitely have their flaws. And
I
FlyQuest,
think when Cloud9 loses, I think it's gonna be to a really bad team. I have a feeling they're just gonna hard throw 1 week, and it's gonna be like later in the season they're gonna lose to like a trash team or Team Liquid when they get their shit together. One of the two.
all right, okay. Team Liquid Golden. Or oh, sorry, FlyQuest EG. I think we agree. FlyQuest, right?
FlyQuest,
Yeah. TLGG TL.
TL.
Yeah, they're just it's not. CLG Immortals. Immortals.
Yeah, Immortals.
I just think CLG's so bad, dude. Dude, if
Yeah.
this was week one, I would have said CLG. But dude, just CLG looks so bad. I don't know, dude. CLG just looks so bad. I can't. All right, all right. So Will, I wanted to. So since LCK is starting like in 2 days, I want to do a quick overview of some LCK stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, I want to get your. So I'm gonna give you a rundown of what I think the teams are going to be, at least bracket wise. I think the worst team is going to be APK Prince because they have a bunch of fucking players. I have no idea who they are, and I've heard no hype about them. I know they have Flawless, but Flawless was a big inter in China. I think Hanwha is going to be the ninth best team because like, they have Cuvee, Haru, Tempt, Zenit, Lehens as their lineup. Lava is like role swapped. Yeah, I don't see that roster doing anything. I think KT is the seventh best team because they actually have some pretty good parts. Kuro, Aiming, Tucson are okay, but their jungle and top side are pretty weak from what it looks like. Soan, Ray, Bono, Maorong. I don't think that's very good, so I think they'll be seventh. But then we have a bunch of like other teams who I actually think like the other six teams all can contest potentially. You know the Genji roster, right? The one with Click
Mhm.
BDD Ruler. Yeah, so you know about that. You know the Dragon X roster. Don1 kept the same lineup. You know the new T1 roster. I'm assuming the ones you don't know very well are Griffin, Sandbox, and Afrika.
Uh, I know. I know Griffin has UCal
Yeah.
and Nahun,
Yeah, so Griffin has Yukal, Nahyun, Tarzan,
and they have
Viper.
Viper and Sword still.
Yeah, they have Sword and they also have Intara. I think Griffin still potentially could be top three, but I don't think they break in the top two. Just due to the fact that Dom1, Dragon X, Genji, and T1 exist, I don't think they can break in the top two. I think two of those four teams will be better than Griffin. Sandbox has they still have Summit, Punch, On Fleek, Dove, Fate, Route, Leo, Gorilla, Joker. Yeah, so they took Punch from Dom1 because Punch was the sub jungler, and Dove was pretty good last I saw him. Route and Leo, I think, are both good. It's just kind of weird that they have both of them, and I think Summit's still good. So I think Sandbox will also be like a contesting with like the 5-6 with like Griffin
Yeah.
and
I
potentially
had
Afrika.
no clue who's on Hanwha outside of Kuve, and I just know Lava's always on that team unless he's gone too.
Haru was the sub on KT last year. Lee Hens was
Oh
from
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I just don't
Griffin.
think the team's gonna do much. That's why I say ninth. Um, yeah. So I was just gonna say like I think that we have pretty much six teams or sorry, seven teams and these other three shitters in the bottom. That's
Mhm.
pretty much what I'm thinking going into it. But week one we have T1 versus Dom1 Gaming. We don't have to do predictions for these, but I'm just
Mhm.
saying like so we have some good matchups here. T1 versus Dom1 Gaming. Griffin versus Afrika, not bad. Uh, Genji versus Griffin. Sandbox versus Dragon X. Well, what do you think of the Dragon X roster this year? How you feeling about your boys?
Uh,
They got a lot of rookies, but they look
Chovy,
pretty strong.
Pog,
Chovy.
Deft, Pog, no Tucson, Pog. Lost of losing Cuz, not Pog. Losing Rascal, also not Pog.
Wait, you have Doran.
So
You have Doran.
yeah, but I like yeah. I guess Doran's okay.
Yeah, Doran's good.
I hope they're good because
Pyosik and Keria are also good, and they have CV Max now. So
I was really digging watching Cuz last year.
yeah, well he's on.
I was like, yeah, let's go. I finally have a jungler to cheer for in the LCK.
It's okay. You can cheer for T1 now because he's on T1.
Yeah, but no. I'll just cheer for Deft.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. I think LCK it's going to be interesting because this reminds me of just like how last year they had a lot of shakeup. I think that there's been a lot of roster change this year. So, in theory, Dom1 should much like last year how Griffin came in as the strongest team. I think Dom1 should initially look good in LCK, but the other three teams obviously that everyone has at the top are Dragon X Gen GT1. Afrika did win the Kespa Cup though. The strength of Mystic and Keen very high still. So yeah, I mean it's hard to say because, like I said, I think seven teams all have a chance, but I do think Griffin and Sandbox cannot make it into top two. like of those other teams. Like I don't think Griffin and Sandbox make it in top two. So yeah.
Mhm.
Any other thoughts so far? Because not much else to talk about here. We don't not much to talk about in EU. I haven't watched much EU, so
EU is just EU. It's just that GT doesn't look as strong as they once
but
as they
they're also
were,
kind of chilling right now.
but they're still way better than every other team.
True.
I until they beat Origin, I thought Origin was actually the best team in Europe,
Yeah.
but Origin lost, so I guess I just have to say GT's better, but I think Origin's really good. That league just literally feels like it's like a 4-team race right now. Well,
Origin G2.
no, it's a 3-team race for second, as G2's in first, and then it's Origin, Fnatic,
Fnatic
and
Rogue.
yeah, and Rogue. But I think Origin's my second, then third is
I think Rogue.
Reckless and the
Oh,
boys.
really? You put Reckless over Rogue? I thought Rogue was
I
just
just
the
think
owner.
Fnatic will get
Oh
their
yeah,
shit
yeah. End of season.
together.
Sure. End
End
of
of
season.
season,
Fnatic
yeah.
has
Right
always
now,
looked good
I
end
think
of
Rogue is
season.
looking pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's gonna be all from us for this second episode.